Welcome to the press conference for Bayern Munich ahead of the final group stage game in the Champions League. We'll start with our player Thomas Musiala. We'll answer your questions in German or English. Jamal, how are you doing after your injury? Are you ready for 90 minutes? It was probably your toughest defeat against Frankfurt. How did you cope with it? Yeah, I'm feeling good. I practiced enough in order to be fully fit again. The coach and the physios are gonna decide how many minutes I will get. There will be a limit, probably. But other than that, I feel well and ready to play games again. The loss against Frankfurt was a surprise to us in a way, but we're looking ahead and we have a good chance to get some self-confidence and show a good game after this game against Frankfurt. How can you explain a game against Frankfurt and what are you going to try to make differently tomorrow against Manchester United? I couldn't understand the question.
Okay.
How can a defeat like against Frankfurt happen? Well, there are always reasons in football. We had a really good practice week leading to the game, so it was a bit of a shock, really. But we were talking about a couple of topics, the way we acted, and in different situations. We have to work harder in a couple of situations and try to trust in our system of playing, but we have enough quality so we don't have to talk too much about our first loss this season. We can learn a lot from it, and we know that when we're not concentrated enough, every game can go downwards, but we have to concentrate now on Manchester United and try to rectify things. The sporting director said yesterday that the approach to the game was a topic after this Frankfurt game. Did you feel the same, that a couple of percentages were missing? Well, that is possible, but in the sessions leading to the game, we couldn't have imagined that. But after watching the game back in a couple of sequences, you can tell that we were missing a couple of percentages, particularly against an opponent that has the quality. You just cannot afford to do so, and same with the game tomorrow. We have to be 100% ready, every player, to have the best chance to win.
One colleague in English.
You're a young player, and you've had a meteoric rise. You've been absolutely fantastic for Germany and Bayern Munich. So you spent time in England. What is it that young players need to be able to have that confidence to make it at the top level? And at Manchester United, we have a young player called Bayern, who you could come up against. Do you know much about him, and how do you...
Say that again. This is... I don't need the translation. Just the end bit, yeah.
Oh, the end bit?
Yeah.
There's a youngster at Manchester United, a couple of years younger than yourself, called Bayern. I don't know if you know too much about him. But how do you feel about the prospect of maybe playing against him?
Yeah, I haven't heard much about him, but I think if he's in the Man United squad, he must have lots of quality. And I think your question was about young players. I think for young players, definitely just to have that confidence in yourself, especially when you're playing with with older people and people that are a bit more experienced. So you still need to have that confidence in yourself and that trust that you're meant to be where you are right now, and then you can go with the flow a bit.
Craig here with that.
Hi, Rob. I just want to know, first off, what's it going to feel to play at Old Trafford, and what have you made of Manchester United this season?
Yeah, I think Old Trafford is definitely a stadium that lots of kids would love to play in. I think there's so much history there, and also when I was younger, it was always nice to see the Old Trafford games, always the atmosphere. I'm pretty sure the atmosphere will be amazing tomorrow, and I think I followed a bit from the Man U. I saw that they lost as well their last games. I think they've had the ups and downs this season, but I think they have lots of quality in their players. Definitely a dangerous team that can hurt us if we're not fully 100% there.
Hi Jamal, you won't play against them tomorrow night, but given the passage Jadon Sancho took from Germany to England at a young age, and you made a similar move, was he an inspiration to you in terms of the thinking behind making that move to Bayern Munich at the time that you did?
I think you could say, yeah, a little inspiration. I think you see how well he was doing after the transition from England to Germany, and seeing how well he was doing in the Bundesliga. It was definitely something nice to see and can give a little boost in your confidence that I could make it as well. And yeah.
Jamal,
Please,
United
you use the microphone for translation.
United have conceded a lot of goals this season, and I think on 9 occasions they've conceded 3 or more in games. They've really struggled to control matches. The game management hasn't been too good, and their own manager has said that. Is that something you can exploit tomorrow night? Can you take advantage of that?
I think the way we play football, we try to control games against any opponent, really. I think that's kind of our game style. So if we can be good in ball possession, don't do sloppy mistakes, and then with the quality we have in attack, we could hopefully create a lot of chances. But we're definitely not gonna underestimate Man U at all, because like I said, they have lots of quality that they can score many goals as well, and if they're in form and playing well and with confidence, they're definitely a very tough team to beat.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Could I just ask, the fact that you're through, does that mean you may take your foot off the pedal, that it's not as important to you, or is it because it's Manchester United that you'll still treat it as an important game?
I think no matter who we play, we always want to win. I think we want to keep our unbeaten streak in the Champions League group stage, and we want to have a good rhythm going into the last couple games of us until the winter break. So I think this is a very important game for us. We're gonna go out and try to win. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good news.
Any open questions for Jamal? That's it. Thank you very much. Coming back with the coach.
Welcome to part 2 of the press conference. Let's start with the questions. You are the leader of the group and the winner of the group, but the 5-1 reverse against Frankfurt makes this game probably more important than it should. Where were the mistakes after analyzing this game, and what has the team to do different tomorrow? It was really tough and it was easy. We had 22 critical losses of possession, which means 5 or more players are out of the situation. 10 is too much, but we had 22. And then you know that it's way too much. It should definitely be just a one figure. And we had 22. And that is just absurdly too much. And that's the first thing. The second is that none of those mistakes led directly to a goal conceded. Like it was an error from Manu or it was a 2-on-1 situation, but we could actually save it in every single situation. And with every goal conceded, with the first 4 goals, we had an advantage, a numerical advantage compared to our opponent. But the standard that we usually are expecting from us wasn't just simply met by us. And that's how you can concede 5 goals via 1 point something expected goals. And those were the decisive things in this game. The sporting director said yesterday that the approach of the team was just not good enough. From Bayern, did you feel the same? Jamal Musiala said a couple of percentages were maybe missing. Is it a question of mentality? Well, if that was the case, and it definitely looked that way, so it's hard to argue with it. I just cannot understand why that should have been the case. The week was very intense, even though that might sound strange. Really good performance in practice, good intensity. And we were trying to win in every session in this practice, which was important. We were telling the players that Frankfurt really plays well, even though the results might not show. And if that was the case, I just cannot understand why that happened. You were talking about the mistakes. You made 2 substitutions at the break with Davies and Mazraoui. Will they get the chance against Manchester United to make amends? Do you have the feeling that the players have enough leadership within them to get them back on track? Well, we are working on that. I think that this is one of the topics and one of the points, but we thought we were even further than that, but we had to learn the lesson the hard way this past weekend with an extraordinary result, really, and that really hurts. But we have to try to get the stability into the team, and the team is trying to work on that. So it's a tough thing to do, obviously, for us. But it was our first loss in the league. We had a couple of games in the Champions League that were tough, that were tight, that didn't go too well, but we still had a result. So I'm expecting and I'm trusting my team to get a result tomorrow as well. But it's not going to be enough to just perform tomorrow, because we have high goals for the rest of this year as well. So on Sunday we were talking about the problems directly, and today we have the chance to make a final practice, and tomorrow in one of the biggest stages in the world football we can show our reaction. And that's where we have to lead our focus to with the practice tomorrow, because that's the way it goes in sport. Yes, we had a couple of substitutions in order to get a new impulse, and everybody gets a chance tomorrow. I haven't made up my mind about the starting 11 yet, and we're going to talk this night in the hotel and decide.
We switch again to English, please.
Thomas,
Hi.
I know the English is good as well. So.
That's right.
How difficult for you is it to look at Manchester United maybe in a tough moment and assess how dangerous they can be, considering how much Manchester United need to win this game, considering that you're through already, you have experience of coming to Old Trafford, obviously, with Chelsea in the previous job, but how dangerous does that make Manchester United tomorrow, even though maybe Manchester United aren't going for their best period?
They're always a dangerous team. My experience is always very, very dangerous to play Manchester United. They have a certain aura, they have a certain mentality that makes them always very difficult to beat. They can endure difficult phases in their matches. I feel that this is part of the DNA of the club, that they can overcome difficult minutes, difficult phases in a match and still win and still steal points. They scored a high number, the highest number of goals in the group so far. They conceded also because they don't have enough points for the goals that they scored. So it is a bit of a up and down for them within the matches. They looked very, very clear and safe in Galatasaray for a very long time and lost control of it. That can happen. We had no control in the first half. It was a bit the opposite for ManUnited in their game, but you see in their strong moments how strong they are. But the stadium, of course, plays a big role. The spectators are emotional. The stage creates, and the stadium creates very special moments, and saw a lot of special moments. So it's a difficult place to come and play, but it's a very, very good challenge for us.
Again, the colleague over there.
Sorry.
How difficult have Manchester United been to prepare for, though, considering one minute they look brilliant, the next minute they look fragile? And secondly, I suppose, just how big is this game? How big is it going to feel when you walk out there tomorrow?
For me personally, I think a game in Manchester United is always a big game. It cannot be described in any other way. It's a big stage. It's a big club. It's one of the biggest stages in world football. It has this certain aura and electricity around it. And to prepare is, we make it ourselves very easy. We prepare the best moments and prepare ourselves for the best Man United team. There are a lot of good moments, and like I said, when they are good, they are really, really good. So and very dangerous on all positions and tough to play. And for us, it's easy. We prepare this best Manchester United, and then hope that we play a part that they underperform.
Hi, Thomas. You experienced an unstable period at Chelsea when there was a new takeover going, new hierarchy. Manchester United are about to have an investment come in, new decisions come in. Do you sympathise with Eric Ten Hag that it can be a difficult period for managers to go through that?
I sympathise with all my colleagues. No matter if they have a change of ownership or not, but I sympathize with all of them. I know that it's sometimes demanding, and that I know that it's sometimes more difficult than it looks from outside. I think I know that what it takes to manage big clubs and big players, and it's sometimes demanding, and sometimes our periods feel a bit like stuck, and a bit like the change is not coming quickly enough for you as a coach, and that's why I sympathize heavily for my colleague, but not tomorrow. Of course, we try to beat him. We want to use the stage for ourselves to make a next step in our development. We have still a long way to go. We need to be very tough tomorrow to withstand this energy and this club here. And I'm pretty sure that Manchester United will bounce back like always, like in general. Hopefully not tomorrow, but in general.
Hi, Thomas.
spoke very well in Munich for the first game about the impact that Harry Kane had on your team. Since then, he's only continued. He's got 22 goals now. Coming here, of course, now for the second tie. Could you understand why the fans wish he'd ended up at Manchester United instead?
I think every fan would think that they wish for Harry Kane in their team. That's why we are very proud that we managed to seduce him, and we managed to steal him from Premier League and from English football. You're a skipper of your national team, and he's a big personality, a big player, a very humble and down-to-earth personality who loves football and who loves what he's doing. He's a role model. We are super happy. We cannot be more happy that he's with us. He gives us a lot of confidence. He gives us, of course, a lot of goals. He will play tomorrow. He will be. I know that he will be happy to be here, and that's basically the story. And I can understand all fans who want him in their team.
There were always great games, Bayern against Manchester United. Do you have a couple of pictures in your mind, maybe as a football fans, that you remember from those duels? After Frankfurt, you said that maybe you were giving your team too much information. How are you trying to adjust that, telling your players maybe, well, they have to adjust to us? Well, yes, the information throughout the week were really not too many, but I decided prior to the game that it could be that they are playing a three at the back, and it was in their build-up play a back three, so it wasn't completely wrong, and we were trying to talk them through a couple of examples when they were defending against 5 at Dortmund or against Cologne as well, when Kingsley Coman was sitting a bit deeper. Then that was the information, but in the game, during the game, I had the feeling that maybe it was not typical for us to give them this type of information prior to the game. Usually we only say, well, forget everything and just go about your business, but we wanted to give them this information, and that was maybe for me, that gave us the feeling that maybe we lost a bit of emotion, and maybe a bit of a different team talk would have been better. Frankfurt played a 4 at the back with a double pivot, which they haven't done before, but we have to live with it. But I know that an underdog sometimes tries to adapt to our system the best way they can, so that makes it difficult to continue doing the same all over again, because those days are over, particularly in the build-up play and in the way you defend. You have to adjust things in order to get a better grip of the game, and we need this flexibility. But again, when you have 9 days time to prepare for a game, and this is the result in the end, and we play the way we play, then I'm one of those to blame. That's no doubt about that. And the first part of the question, obviously I remember the game in Barcelona. I can remember the huge chances. It was just a matter of time for the 2-0, and then the famous Fergie time came up, and everything changed. But we all were young back then, so we tried to turn things around and win the game for us, for our self-confidence. 3 more questions.
Bayern have got an extraordinary record in the group stage, I think, unbeaten 39 games going back over 6 years. You have obviously already qualified as huge winners, and no doubt United and their supporters may hope that you switch off a bit, or there's some complacency. Is that a risk for your team tomorrow night?
I can understand if people say it looked a little bit like this against Copenhagen. I did not feel it before, and the speech and the lineup was not that we agreed, or that we gave the impression that we accept 99%, because we simply don't. If you sign up for Manchester United or if you sign up for Bayern Munich, one of these two clubs, you sign up for 100% every single day. Otherwise, it's not possible. So this is the approach, and even if we would have come after a successful match now at Frankfurt, which we don't, it cannot change. I'm a big fan of not changing the attitude towards teams, the attitude towards matches, not judging matches. It doesn't work for me. It does not work like this. It never worked like this. When we wear the Bayern Munich shirt, when we go out for training, then we behave like champions. Otherwise, we cannot be champions. So this is. Of course, I know that we don't. Everybody knows that we don't have the full pressure from the table wise. But we always have pressure because we make our own pressure. We have our own demands, and we want to keep the momentum going. The record is incredible. Of course, Manchester United will do everything to beat us, to keep their chance alive, to go through. And we play for us. We play for our record, and we play for our demands. And we demand nothing but the best from ourselves. Sometimes this lack of kind of pressure from the table can lead to a lack of stress, because like some positive stress can always bring out the very best. So we had this kind of stress after our last result, and I hope that we can match the mentality, the enthusiasm and the hunger that Man United will clearly show tomorrow, because only then we have a chance for a result.
Letzte Frage, David Pfaff.
Jamal Musiala just said that there will be limited minutes for him tomorrow. Will he be able to start tomorrow? And Serge Gnabry, for how long will he be out? I'm afraid it will be at least 8 weeks. This is my information, so 8 weeks plus. And we have to see how fast he's healing already. But this is way too long for him. It took him a while to get back after his broken arm, and then he was right in top form in practice. He had a good week, and then he gets injured in the first minute after coming on. And Jamal, it won't be enough for 90 minutes, and we will decide after the practice session for how long he will be able to play. He can start, and then he will play around 60 minutes, or he will come in from the bench, because after a long sequence of practice he played 20-25 minutes, and this can help to play 30 minutes maybe and then start on Sunday. I haven't decided yet. Thank you very much. See you, bye-bye. See you tomorrow.